Washington thought Canada would fold in weeks. It didn't. In late 2025, after trade talks collapsed, the United States launched what looked like an economic shock and awe campaign. Tariffs, pressure, public demands. The message was clear: comply or pay the price. But what happened next caught Washington completely off guard. Canada didn't panic. Canada didn't retaliate loudly. Canada didn't concede. Instead, it exposed something far more dangerous: how dependent the US economy really is. In December 2025, the US Trade Representative laid out the conditions for renewing CUSMA in 2026. Full access to Canada's dairy market, repeal of digital laws affecting American tech giants, an end to provincial restrictions on US alcohol. On paper, these looked like tough demands. In reality, they revealed a miscalculation. The assumption was that Canada, which sends the majority of its exports south, had no room to resist. But trade cuts both ways. Take aluminum. When the US raised tariffs to 50%, the goal was to punish Canadian producers. Instead, it punished American industry. Aluminum is not just a metal, it is electricity in solid form. Canada produces it using vast, low-cost hydropower. By importing Canadian aluminum, the US saves enormous amounts of energy every year. When Washington taxed that aluminium, it didn't hurt Canada first. It taxed its own aerospace sector, auto manufacturers, and defense supply chains. By late 2025, profits across US fabricated metals dropped sharply, and costs rippled through industries critical to national security. Then came fertilizer. A 10% tariff on Canadian potash sounded small. It wasn't. The United States depends heavily on Canada for potassium-based fertilizer. There is no quick replacement, no alternative supplier that can scale fast enough. The result was immediate pressure on US farmers. Corn, soy, wheat. Margins tightened across the Midwest and South, the same regions politically backing the tariffs. What was framed as economic strength became a direct tax on American food production. While Washington escalated publicly, Ottawa moved quietly. Under the leadership of Carney, Canada coordinated with provinces and accelerated development of the Ring of Fire in northern Ontario, one of the most strategic critical mineral zones in the Western Hemisphere. The signal was subtle, but unmistakable. Canada isn't just a trading partner, it is a foundation. Electric vehicles, batteries, clean energy systems, and AI data centers all depend on minerals Canada controls. Access to the future economy runs through Canadian ground. By early 2026, the numbers told the real story. US GDP absorbed measurable losses from trade friction. Consumer costs rose sharply. Meanwhile, Canada diversified exports toward Europe and Asia, offsetting pressure and strengthening resilience. This wasn't about nationalism. It was about leverage. A world defined by fragile supply chains and energy constraints, reliability beats intimidation. And the US learned a hard lesson. You cannot win a trade war against the country that keeps your lights on, your factories running, and your farms productive. The question now isn't who blinked last. It's whether Washington understands what it just revealed, before the 2026 CUSMA review truly begins.